We're going to look at this multiple choice question on usage. Usage more or less refers to agreement of subject and verb, and sometimes the use or misuse of certain words in a sentence. Now, we are asked to select the underlying part of the sentence that is inappropriate, which means that at that inappropriate section, we are going to find a word that is incorrectly used, whether it is grammar or otherwise. There are certain sections in the sentence, or certain words in the sentence that are underlined. The error, if there is one, will be found only at one section. We will never find two errors in the same sentence. Now, if you are sitting the exam, what you will be required to do is to shade in the section or the letter that is referring to the word or the section that has the error. However, if there is no error, then you would shade in the letter D. All right? So let us look at sentence number 1. The cricket team pledged to do its best to ensure that its performance retained its high standard. Right? We'll read it again. The cricket team pledged to do its best to ensure that its performance retained its high standard. Now, if I were doing that sentence, what I would do is read and pause at that section or examine the section that is marked with the A, B, or C correctly. And then I will decide within myself, is there something wrong with this word? If there is nothing wrong, I will move on to the next word that is on the line and see if something is wrong there. If there is nothing wrong, I will move on to the next word and to see if there's an error. However, if there's no error, then I know that I am going to shade in the letter D. Now in this sentence, I would think that the word pledge is correctly used, to do its best to ensure that it is also correctly used, its performance. But look at the word that comes next to performance. Retain. Retain here is referring to the word performance. It's performance retain, right? So retain is clearly referring to the word performance. Now we have to decide whether the word performance is a word that is used singularly or is it used in a plural fashion. If it is used to represent one thing, which means it is singular, then it means that the verb which comes right beside it, which is referring to it, must also be singular. And if performance is plural, then the verb is going to be plural. Here we have performance being used as a singular word. But look at what happens. The verb that is referring to it is plural. We know that it is plural because it does not contain an S. It does not end with an S. Right? So, singular verbs end with S. Plural verbs do not end with S. If, therefore, Performance is singular. We need the verb that is referring to it to be singular. So we would have to add an S. So the correct thing now would be to ensure that its performance retains its high standard. So in this case, this word should have been retains instead of retain. So we would have circled or shaded on our answer sheet C. Alright? Because here we have a plural verb being used with a singular subject. And we must make sure that our verbs agree with their subject. Alright, let us look at sentence number 2. This criminal, whom was seen escaping the prison, is armed and considered dangerous to the public. Now, as far as I see, the error is clearly at A. Why? Whom is a pronoun, but we do not use this pronoun like that. Whenever we use whom, it has to be used with prepositions like in, to, maybe about, or of, right? So we would say in whom, or to whom, or about whom, or of whom. If there is no preposition in the sentence, then it means that the pronoun that we need to use would have to be who. Okay? So it's the criminal who was seen, not the criminal whom was seen. But we could say the criminal of whom we spoke is armed and dangerous. So there we have a preposition coming before the pronoun. All right. So in this case, we say who and not who. Number 3, tomorrow a bouquet of flowers will be laid at the statue of Mahatma Gandhi in commemoration of India's Independence Day. So let us look at the sections now that are underlined and lettered. The first word that we have there is laid. Are we going to say flowers will be laid or will be laid? I think the correct thing to say is tomorrow a bouquet of flowers will be laid at the statue. So the arrow is going to be at A. Will be laid. Okay, now let's go to number 4. The children decided to leave early for home since the cloud had begun to darken. Since the cloud has begun to darken. Now what I see happening in this sentence is that since is normally used to refer to time. Since last week, since yesterday, since last year. So I think it is the wrong use of the word here. I would have said, the children decided to leave early from home because the cloud had begun to darken. Alright? So since here is normally used to refer to time, so we have the wrong use of the word, so we would shade B. Number 5 says, I intended to visit my relatives abroad during the summer vacation, since I have not seen them for the past 5 years. For the past 5 years. Now, if the years are past, it would not have been PASS, it must be PAST, for the past 5 years. PASS definitely has a different meaning from PAST, right? I pass by the road, or I pass along the road, then I would use PASS. But if I'm referring to time, past time, it will have to be PAST. So here again, we would shade C. Number 6, the store was broken into last night and goods valued 15,000 were taken. Let's read it again. The store was broken into last night. Was broken, correctly used. And goods valued. Yes, this is also correct because we are talking in the past tense. Was broken and the goods valued 15,000 were taken. But look at what is happening. Here is not really a matter of tense. What are we talking about that was taken? What valued 15,000? Goods. Now, although goods end with S, it is a singular word. Right? It's a singular word. Goods, the word goods is like the word news. News also ends with S, but it is singular. So we said the news was read by so and so, not the news were read. The news was read. The same thing applies to goods. Goods valued at 15,000 was taken. So here we would circle C, because instead of saying goods were taken, we say goods was taken. Now there's something that sometimes I know that what sort of bother some students is that they look at 15,000 and they're saying in their mind, this is a plural expression. So because this is a plural expression, I'm going to retain the word taken. But it's not the money that was taken, it is the goods. This is the subject. All right. Children